to yet another episode on Faithelicious and Friends. My name is Faith, but I like to be called Faithelicious. And today's segment is going to be very, very interesting. But if you've not joined in before, I just want to encourage you to please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button, and then there's a little bell on the side that you can hit, and please subscribe so that you get notified, so that whenever we upload anything here, you can join. And remember, here on Faithelicious and Friends, we like to keep things real, and as long as you keep commenting, you can be on the show, because the show is for everyone here. It's for you, it's for me, it's for everyone who's a friend. And if you have something you want us to talk about, feel free to send us a message and we will acknowledge and respond to you. Now, on today's segment, we have someone really, really interesting joining us, and I will be introducing you to him in a bit, so don't move a muscle. Hi, it's Faithelicious and Friends, and joining me today, I have a wonderful person who is a safety consultant and also a life coach. Joining me today, I have Mr. Stephen A.O. Paul.
Good evening.
Good to have you here.
Listeners, thank you. Me too.
Yes.
Pleasure is mine.
And I'm so excited to have him here. We've been talking for a while. We've been talking about, interesting thing called communication.
Sure.
And the fact that a lot of problems we have in today's society, not just relationships being a big part of it, but generally is the lack of effective communication among people.
Sure.
So I think before we go ahead to discuss what we want to talk about today, which is communication, we should break down what communication is.
Well, in a layman language, communication is transmitting information from one person to the other using signs, words, body language, and then of course getting a correspondence feedback, because communication is not communication until you get the right feedback from the person.
I like the word you used. You said right feedback. So getting any kind of feedback, doesn't necessarily connote effective communication, because the feedback you get has to show that what you planned to communicate was received properly.
Sure. I think most times there is a problem with communication sometimes, because people sometimes you don't have the right word to say what you want to say. And sometimes you can mean one thing, and your attitude and your expression and the sign that comes with it, because it's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it.
Yeah.
It's about the signs, your body language,
So there is the verbal communication and there's the non-verbal.
Yeah, the non-verbal. So all that comes together to interpret. It determines the way your listener interprets what you're actually trying to say.
So what would you say are some of the mistakes we make, in communication these days?
I think one of the greatest mistakes we make in communication is assumption.
I like that.
Assumption, people like to assume that they understand what you're trying to say better than you that is saying it.
Okay.
And in order to be effectual in communication, it's important for you to allow the person talking to explain to you sometime or clarify what he's trying to say. When there is prejudice in the mind, probably because of past experiences, and you already think that I understand what this person is trying to say. This person is trying to put me down, or this person is trying to insult me, or this person is is angry with me. The person might not be angry with you. It might just be that's the way the person knows how to talk. Some people are loud when they talk. Some people are quiet when they talk. Some people are withdrawn when they talk. Some people are very expressive. Some are not. So everyone comes along with their personality. Everyone brings their personality into their communication. And if you are not used to that kind of personality, you might think that the person is trying to say something different from what you are hearing. And that's why it's important all the time, when you don't get something clear, or you think you have a negative inclination to what someone is trying to say, you should ask get clarification from the person.
Better to be clarified than assume.
Than
Okay.
assuming.
All right. I want to go into guys and girls now.
Okay.
Now, you talked about the fact that our communication can be affected based on past experience. Can our communication also be affected based on gender?
Gender, a man and a woman, in most cases, express differently. Ladies are more, they talk from emotion, most especially. It's about their heart thing. And ladies are more emotionally intelligent than
the
men.
guys.
And they use it well. A lady can decide to use emotional intelligence to blackmail a man, use emotional intelligence. Come on. She can decide to use emotional intelligence to manipulate, and she can use it also to save him.
Okay.
To save the man, she can use it. It could be used positively and negatively. Guys are more like, they say what they want to say, and maybe the men are not as emotionally intelligent. That's the word I want to use. They are more logical than emotional intelligence, and it works against a lot of men because
it's very interesting because I remember I didn't finish reading the book, but this particular book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. There's this part that caught my attention. I never read that book
anyway, so
okay.
But go ahead.
I just read a bit of it, not all. Okay. But there was this part that caught my attention. It said something about the language in which women use and the language in which men use. They gave an example. For example, women believe using the word can is polite. It's being kinder, it's polite. For example, a woman asks the man, "Can you take the garbage out?" Now the guy answers without answer. In this example, it says the guy answers without thinking. Yes, because to him you're asking about his ability. Can he take the garbage out? Yes, he can take the garbage out. And to her, she sees his answer yes as a commitment, but to him he doesn't see it as a commitment. So when she comes back later and the garbage is, not been taken out, it's still there.
She's mad.
She's upset, and then there's a whole breakdown. But the book said if women could switch can with will you take the garbage out? That most likely, most of the times, if you use will with a guy, he will think before answering because now he knows it's a commitment. So when you say will you, he will check first if he will. And then when he answers yes or no, he has to or will do that thing, and I found it very interesting because after that I started listening out for, those words, and I noticed actually more women use the word can than will. What do you say about that?
This is where the feedback thing comes in. It is said that communication, you have not communicated until you get a feedback. Okay. The appropriate and expected feedback. So the lady who is expecting the guy or a husband or a friend to pick up the garbage, and she says, "Can you?" And the guy says, "Yes." There is a possibility that the guy will understand what she is saying as, "Take the garbage out." And there's also a possibility that the guy would just look at it and say, "Okay, is she testing my manliness or testing my ability? It's a test of my ability." So, but it is important that the lady gets a feedback from the guy. Would you take this out?
So maybe
and she need to get.
Maybe after asking can, she need
to get the guy. She needs to get the guy to speak back the word. Okay, as a safety professional, in safety you don't assume that someone heard you just because you said something. Okay. You let the person say it back to you. So if you don't understand, I will need to rephrase and then ask you again. All right? Because until I'm sure that you really get what I'm saying. So that's the major problem with communication. Many times someone is trying to say one thing and the listener is hearing something else.
That is a problem. Yeah. In fact, another big issue with communication is when the people are angry. So let me just ask you this: how do you communicate when you're angry, when you're upset?
Well, how I or how
How
people
we,
should.
yeah, how we should we?
Okay. As a person, I've not always been like this. I've learned over the years as you grow and you learn things. There are things life just teach you,
Yeah.
and as you grow, you learn. But now I know that when I'm angry, if I cannot uh, express my anger in a very logical way and separate the person from the problem, I will have to give myself some time before I address the problem. When you're angry, it's extremely important that you know that what you are trying to deal with is a problem and not the person. So you need to separate the person from the problem so you don't end up abusing the person, talking down the person,
Yeah.
degrading the person.
Yeah.
Someone must have done something wrong. It is that thing that was done wrong that is the problem. So we need to focus on that thing that was done wrong,
Not the person.
not the person.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, the person will remember every single word you say, and the person will be hurt because word hurts people.
Yeah.
But if your words were addressing the problem, like it is this attitude, it is this particular thing that you're doing that I don't like. It is not you. Then I'm saying this thing, let's deal with it.
So when you're angry, have at the back of your mind that you don't hate this person.
You are going to be reconciling with this same person. You want to be, many times people have misunderstandings, not because they hate each other. Misunderstanding will always come. And it's not because people hate each other. It's just because they don't understand. That's why it is called misunderstanding. It's because they don't understand themselves.
I know that I saw somewhere when they were talking about communication when they're angry, they say first you want to learn to stop, breathe, think, listen, and that's another angle I wanted to bring in, in communication, because we've been talking about communication, which is the part, and we're talking from the angle of the person who's speaking. Now, what about from the angle of the person who's listening? You want to talk to us a little bit about listening, the art of listening?
Listening is a very important part of communication. As a matter of fact, you will not be a very good communicator if you are not a good listener.
True.
A good
Very
listener is a good communicator because when you understand someone, what the person is saying, you will learn enough from the person to be able to respond correctly. Many times we have, in communication, there's what we call hijackers. Someone will be talking and there's this guy who's always hijacking the communication. Just hijack it from there and then you start expressing your own line of thoughts without allowing this person to finish his or her own line of thoughts. That way, you won't learn anything yourself.
True.
Than you already know.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you will not be communicating to the person.
True.
So in communication, listening is extremely important. And listening is important for you to be able to understand the person you are trying to communicate with. Communication must be an art that helps you discover who this person is and how this person understands, why the person is thinking the way the person thinks, why the person is acting the way the person acts. And the best way you can is to listen more than talk less.
Listen more, talk less. Okay.
So it's very important.
And talking about, listening and talking, I've noticed that there's this trend where there are a bunch of people who don't know how to talk with you. They talk to you, and it's really difficult to form a bond with those people, because most of the time when they pause, they're not listening, they're just waiting for you to stop talking so that they can start talking. And you need to check yourself. If you're that kind of person, you've not been effectively communicating. Especially if you're a boss, you want to be sure that you're not just talking to people, you're getting the right feedback. They're not just keeping quiet because they're used to you talking to them. Real quickly, before we wrap things up, can you maybe give us some tips to effectively communicate with one another?
Well, the first I want to mention is you must understand that there are no two people in this world that are the same.
Yeah.
Every individual develop their personal communication filter, hearing filters. So what are your filters made up of? Your filters are made up of your background, your knowledge background, your communication background. And that's about where we're raised, family we're raised, how they talk there, what words mean. For example, in Yoruba, I'm a Yoruba, you say good morning. Good morning, oh. They mean two different things. They mean two different things. Yeah. It's important to understand that the person you are dealing with, you have to try to understand the person you're dealing with. That this person have his or her own communication or hearing filters. And you want to be sure that the person is hearing exactly what you're trying to transmit to the person. So in communication, don't assume anything. That's how a lot of couples have a lot of problems.
Okay, so no assumption, confirm.
No assumption. Ask if you don't understand. Don't assume someone is trying to insult you. Someone is trying to put you down. Someone is trying to flatter you. The person might be real. Don't have prejudice. Some people hear with prejudice. In other words, someone has said certain words to them and it means some negative things in the past. And then when they hear any word that resembles the same statement, they just fly off the handle.
So we attach to words.
Yes, all of us do. Then be open-minded with communication, especially with people you don't know before, people you are trying to learn. Be open-minded. And I think a little advice for bosses. In this 21st century, this generation, this information age generation, want a reason to do things. So don't just say, go and do that. Why don't you do that? They will be asking you why. Why do you want me to do this?
Give me a reason.
Yeah, so they want reason. So if you really want to communicate with people, you have to understand that there are people who just want reason to do something so they can do it well.
All right. One thing I'm taking away from this today is that in communication, remember, it's not always about you. In fact, most of it, just have at the back of your mind, it's not about you. It's about, the message you're trying to pass across and if that message is being perceived properly. Moving forward, you want to check, have you been effectively communicating to those around you? It's Faithelicious and friends, and we can have this conversation continue in the comment section. All you have to do is go down and then comments, and we will answer any questions or any concerns you have. I think we're going to drag you back here again.
I'll be glad to be here again.
Thanks,
Faithelicious.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
We've had Stephen A.O. Paul, safety consultant and life coach, talk to us on communication, effective communication. So go out there and, socialize and effectively communicate with the world. I know I will be. And we hope to hear from you also. It's Faithelicious and friends. Don't forget to comment, like, share the video, and if you have anything you would like us to talk about, any topic you want us to discuss here, feel free to drop a message and we will address it. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.